Welcome back to Through the Portal. We are back from Nashville. ClashCon 2025, Pro Tour North America, PvE Gauntlet. That was a crazy weekend. I'm still exhausted.
Still recovering from
somehow these events are like the most exhausting thing and the most life-giving thing all in the same time.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
we showed up there on Thursday and we ended up driving. For us, it was about a 10-hour trip, 11-hour trip, which a lot of times when they're far away, we crate up our stuff, we ship it, and it's like, this was just far enough that we could haul a trailer, and we could just drive it and make it happen. So we headed out on Thursday. We got there, and it was cool to see. This just shout out to our community. Basically, we rolled up to the hotel while we're unloading the trailer. I had already gotten a message from somebody asking if we needed help Thursday. We walk in the lobby. We ran into a few people that were already in town for the event, and they're like, what can we do? Put us to work. Let's go. And so we had help unloading the trailer and setting up our light up displays and tables and carrying all our stuff in. And
even with all that help, it still took...
We were still there all day Thursday.
I'd say all day / night. And then even then, so I think once we were finished, then we kind of socialized, and then we had to get ready for day one. Yeah, we had to
get ready, and so it was a good start to the weekend. Great to see people jumping in. Those are the kind of people that we have coming to these events. So I always say every time we talk about it that my literal favorite thing that we do is go to events and hang out with people and get to see everybody and coming in. So that was how we got started on Thursday, and of course we were in there until after midnight on day one, just hanging out, which we proceeded to do every night. So late nights and early mornings for us in Nashville, but that was Thursday. We traveled, we set up, we got there. What about Friday?
So Friday was day one of ClashCon, so it was the PvE Gauntlet, new event style, just event that we did. And so essentially what it was is we did Siege of the Forgotten, but each round, people were paired randomly. So all the competitors that had entered, you'd get paired up in either teams of 3 or 4, because, even or odd numbered. But then there would be a round modifier. Everyone's randomly assigned tables, and then it was all about points.
It was really cool to see the modifiers get announced, because you had a whole room full of people waiting to see, what is it going to be. And everybody, we encourage them to bring multiple decks, have a lot of stuff ready, get ready to play. And we had up on the projector screen with the clock was also the round modifiers. And so Ridge will go over there and hit the button. Hey, here you go. Here's your modifiers. And the cheers, the boos, the whatever of people of what we heard pretty much every round was somebody say, this is impossible. I can't win. Nobody can beat this. And pretty much across all the 4 rounds, it was almost exactly 50-50 on games played. Whether people won or lost.
I would say like 30 to 50%. Because I remember one round was like really hard for them.
One round was particularly hard.
But on top of that, so not only did we have modifiers, but there were 8 event cards that got put into the minion deck and the event deck, 4 and 4. And the RNG of how Siege of the Forgotten is, plus those event cards either helped or hurt. I mean, we remember seeing one team get GERD, 2 times? 3 times, which if you haven't played Siege of the Forgotten, GERD has this ability that is nasty that basically makes contenders lose health when he's defeated. And basically they got caught in a bad loop, and so all their contenders were just getting hammered.
Yes, that game was funny to watch for everybody except for the people at the table. Because not only they get GERD 3 times, but in the end, the person who blew up the board killed them and killed themselves and all of their teammates at the same time, which actually scored everybody an extra point because everybody was the last player to die. So
Right. And so there were different ways to score points. Were you the person on your team that had defeated the active boss? Were you alive when your team defeated Krung? Like all these things, there were roughly 10, 12 different ways to score points.
They had like a golf scorecard. They were keeping track of every round.
Yep, each round they got a new scorecard. Then they would fill it out. Their teammates would sign off on it, and then we would tally up the points. And so going into the last round, we had spent quite a bit of time with the scoring system, trying to figure out a way that would be incremental, that people wouldn't have the same points across the board.
And it ran from 1 to 6 points you could score on everything you could get. And there was over 10 different things. So a lot of variety, a lot of ways to score, a lot of bonuses and things for
I thought I saw
team and individual performance.
I think the highest individual score in a round I saw was 14.
Yep.
And the lowest was 1.
0.
Oh, the lowest was 0. Okay.
Anywhere from 0 to 14
0
per
to 14.
round.
So just think, between all the rounds, I mean, we even saw the one of the leaders or a couple of the leaders heading into the last round. They only scored, I don't know, a couple points, where before they were scoring tons of points. And so just the last round alone, we saw some people make up ground.
Yeah, obviously the gameplay was fun, and we want people to love PvE, and the feedback was like people loved the event, which is great, and they want us to do it more. But just listening to the room of like,
that's
you're in a whole room full of people, you might know one person, you might know 0 people, and you're getting paired randomly into teams of 3 or 4 people. You might know anybody, you might not know anybody. And once they saw the round modifiers, they had 5 minutes to talk, decide on what decks they were going to play, modify their decks, pick a strategy. You're doing this, I'm doing that. And then just like, you know, sometimes in competitive play, like in the Pro Tour side, the room might be silent.
Yeah.
But then when you
like
get
the draft.
Yeah.
That was
like
dead silent.
Dead silent. But then you get into the PvE Gauntlet, and it's people are laughing and people are yelling and people are
they're high-fiving.
They're celebrating and cheering and you know, just working together on how they can beat this thing and trying to min-max their turns. And you have a really wide gambit of like really experienced players versus very novice players, and just seeing those people getting paired together was really cool. You know, and before we talk about results, so there was even like a father and son who had come up from Florida, who they had said they had only ever played Alpha Glash against each other ever. And they came up to the event and they ended up finishing 5th and 6th in the Gauntlet.
In the Gauntlet, yes. Fun fact on that one is I met, his man's name was Sean. I met Sean at Tampa Bay Comic-Con years ago. And when I saw him, I was like, man, he looks familiar, but I'm trying to as soon as he said it, I was like, wow, okay. So it was cool just to see, hey, Alpha Clash, we had shared it with, you know, many people there, but him specifically years ago, and he was back for the event. And so that was cool to see.
So it was cool to see, and just the experience, but the whole room was really fun. But after 4 rounds of play, as they're tallying their scores, the scores, people were really clumped up, but no ties. And the people to get into the top 4, top 16, everything for prizing, everybody was separated by like 1 point each. So the difference between 1st and 8th was 6 points.
Yeah.
You know, they were all spread out.
Which would be, you know, 1 to 2 points in a round.
Yeah.
Right?
That was,
on average.
I mean, really close.
Yeah.
And a good spread. And so we had some cool prizes. People got, you know,
Lord Krung statues.
You got statues. They got the ink promos of Percival.
Yep.
They got Spoils of the Forgotten boxes, which if you haven't figured out by now, those are pretty much gone.
Those are gone.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
We have 0 left as a company, up 100% out. And so those are out. They got some Spoils boxes. That was the last of everything we had. We had saved for prizing for that event.
Yep.
They got all sorts of stuff. But the top 4 got to play one final game against the big boss, Lord Krung himself, Ridge, in which there was only a couple modifiers. And it was like, one was called the first and only, so nobody could play a discarded affiliation contender. Yeah. And the red text was included.
Yep.
And
that was it.
They fought valiantly for an hour and a half against Ridge.
Yeah.
And lost. But
we had a good time.
They had a good. Ridge had a good time.
I had a good time. They were having a really good time.
Yeah.
And then Krung did what Krung can do. Once you get to turn 5 or 6, starts to do some fun plays for the boss, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. So, but those guys had a great time, and in the top 4, we ended up seeing Steven,
Yep.
Mike, Christian, and Nathan. And so those guys made the top 4, got their statue, got some extra special prizing and more stuff for that. And that was the playing portion of Friday, but there was also people hanging out, doing side events, doing other stuff. We also, the popular gumball machine, the merch, the shirts, all sorts of stuff. People were grabbing on Friday, hanging out. And then Friday night, we ended up having not social, but then spoilers and all sorts of stuff.
Yep. Basically just went over spoilers of Ancient Alphas. So we revealed what that was. Talked about our Champion Store program, where we're growing nationally and internationally, and really just kind of what's on the horizon.
Yeah, just kind of went over the plan, XP Network, organized play, all sorts of stuff. On Friday night, which is always cool to like sit and watch people, eyes on the screen, filming it, taking pictures, getting excited, cheering, as things come up on the screen. As well as we did probably 15 minutes of Q&A.
Yeah.
And just answer. People had a lot of questions, and we got to answer those.
A lot of questions about the story, the lore.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. So that was cool.
A lot of questions. People want to know where the story's going, and
When's the next
when is
book?
the book coming out, and what's the comic plan. And
Yep.
we talked about our upcoming comic book series with Mark Wade collaboration with AJ Light and everything. And people are really excited about that. And a lot of, I would say probably over half the questions were about the story, and probably half were on the game and the company. And so cool to see. And that was Friday night, another late night in there hanging out with everybody. People stuck around, played, practice games, practice. A lot of what we really saw Friday night was a lot of people practice drafting.
Yeah.
To try to get ready for Pro Tour on Saturday, because we introduced the first ever mixed format event for Alpha Clash at the Pro Tour North America starting on Saturday.
Yep. So that was 4 rounds of constructed and 3 rounds of draft.
Yep. So
what was cool about that is, well, first, the deck diversity, the contender diversity was awesome. 16 different contenders, no more than 4 of the same contender, which was Clarity, which was one team.
1 to 4 of all those.
Yeah.
Different 16.
And so, tons of different contenders, all different types of decks. And then what was also cool is some of the people that were in the top 8 after the constructed rounds didn't end up in the top 8 after draft. And so draft definitely changed.
You saw people climb in the leaderboard during draft. And so it was really neat to see, obviously, really diverse field, which I think is a testament to a couple things. One, people are super creative, unique. Meta is very diverse. The metas are very regional. And so you see different groups coming up with different things. We heard different strategies afterwards from people of like, I really expected a hyper aggro meta. I didn't really see that, or whatever it was. And so it was hard for people to really put a pin in what the meta was going to be for the weekend. And I think a big piece of that was the event card. Yeah. Because obviously we introduce event cards and bounties in 2 ways that we want to put together fun and competition. And this event, we've had some event cards where it kind of might turn off certain things and other things get a little stronger. And this one was like, there's synergies, but like you could still play almost anything. And so I think people had a hard time figuring out what was going to show up. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't what everybody expected. So really diverse field, obviously, with the spread like that. Yeah. And as Ridge mentioned, after 4 rounds of constructed Swiss play, we stopped. We did a called draft. People got their 4 packs. We did the pass in the left and right, the timers. We did all that. And then they had some time to construct their decks, leave them up, get ready. And then we played 3 more rounds of draft on Saturday to finish that out. Gave everybody free pizza again, Friday and Saturday night.
Which was good. So one of the big things is we were sponsored by Quest, and we had a great amount of Quest. And so people were fueled for the weekend. But on top of that, we were still playing. And so the pizza came, and as people were, some people were like pausing their game to go get pizza. Be like, hey, can we pause? Let's eat for, 5 minutes. And then they went and ate.
Running. We're fine.
Mid-round. And so it's funny because especially, sport performance, nutrition, those things are important in my life for a lot of reasons. Past career, athletically, professionally. My wife is, involved in nutrition. And so fueling performance is actually, it's a real thing. There is research on gamers and how to do strength conditioning and fueling. Like all of that is very real. And so having Quest, having even pizza, things like that, like it does improve performance. So
yeah, we had people certainly got their protein in Nashville.
yeah, lots
we
of
had
protein.
a lot of Quest bars, Quest chips, Quest
Muffins,
Quest crackers.
Yep.
Cheez-It kind of things, all
Yep.
sorts of stuff. So that was
Yeah.
great. Everybody had snacks. They were a sponsor for the event. People were loving that all weekend, staying fueled up, saving some money, and getting some food. And then, so yeah, that was Saturday. We had a great day. And then we get ready to roll into Sunday, and we had our top 8 for the final bracket. And so we ended up seeing Zach Bunn's Torque deck playing against, he was the 1 seed, playing against a Weber deck from Ian, which was...
So 1 versus 8.
Yep, 1-8. They're in the quarters, which is funny because not only are they teammates, they also are coworkers. So some workplace bragging rights on the line in round 1. And
but
some
Weber
cool
in
matchups.
top 8.
Anybody see that coming?
Yeah.
Weber deck
So
in the
bounty
top 8.
winner. Yeah.
Yep.
Top 8.
So Ian claimed the Weber bounty, made the top 8. We saw some other really cool matchups in the first round. Unfortunately for friends and also teammates and mirror match, we saw Jacob and Brandon playing in a Clarity, Deadly Duelist and Defender. So Flip Clarity, they played each other at pretty much identical decks. They had built it together, and
I think card for card.
Pretty much.
I think,
yeah. So fortunately, they had to play each other. In the top 8, you saw Michael Hamilton, who was trying to win his 5th Major Alpha Clash title, in the top 8 playing Genesis against Eric, making his first top 8.
Yeah,
and Eric
Sinai.
was running Sinai in a really cool deck. And not only was that Sinai's first top 8, because first event he's ever been playable for, it was Eric's first top 8. So really cool to see him get in there and Sinai get in there. And Sinai was a bounty. So we also saw a Sinai bounty in the top 8. Clarity was a bounty. Sinai was a bounty. Weber was a bounty. All in the top 8. Really cool. And then we saw in the other quarterfinal matchup, Matt Cole's another familiar face who's made multiple top 8s and top 4s. He's also a world champion of multiple other games.
I think he's on a card in UFS.
Yeah, for his world championship. He was on one of their cards as a player. But then he was playing against Colby, who was playing Cadavros. And that was also Cadavros' first top 8 because he's a brand new contender. First time he's ever been playable. Colby's first top 8. And so Colby was one of those players who was outside the top 8 going into draft and then had a great draft and put himself from out of the top 8 to being the 4 seed or 5 seed going into the top 8. And so you saw some juggling there. And as we'd mentioned on day 1, before we finish out the tournament, is not only do we see 16 different contenders represented in regular play, but then during the draft portion, we saw all 6 contenders from the set represented in draft as well. So people could pick any of them that they wanted, and they picked all of them. So cool to see diverse field and constructed and draft. But so day 2, let's talk it out. What happened?
Well, let's see. If you go, it was Zach versus Ian, so Zach got the win on that. So it
was 2-0, but on those games, Ian had lethal on the next turn when Zach killed him. And so it was really close. Yeah, pretty close game.
Yeah.
Obviously, they knew each other's decks, but
Weber leading Alpha Hunters, got close. So
yeah, it was close. Weber was very close to making a top 4.
Yep. And then definitely a little bit out of order, but yeah, Jacob and Brandon had played. Brandon had won that in the mirror match.
Marathon.
Yeah, marathon
mirror match.
Because everyone else finished pretty quick. Relatively quick for a top cut, untimed round. Then Colby and Matt had played. Colby edged out Matt, so Cadavros over Genesis in that matchup. And then it was Michael and Eric, and Michael had advanced over Sinai.
That was another one, too, that was really cool to watch.
Yeah.
That Eric had Michael down to 2 health, and it was 20-2. Eric was at full health, Michael was at 2. And Eric, jammed him down to 2, and then kind of stalled and started top decking And if you give Genesis time to build up his resources, and all of a sudden Michael had 8 resources, and it was bam, 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 and he won 2-0.
Wow.
On that, and so it was cool. Really close games.
Yeah. Yep. So then that was the quarter. So then down into the semis, it was Zach versus Colby.
Yep.
So Torque versus Cadavros, and Colby edged out Zach in that matchup.
Yep. So we saw 4 different contenders in the top 4.
Yep.
6 different in the top 8, 4 in the top 4.
So Torque, Cadavros, Clarity, and Genesis was
Yep.
top 4. So yeah, it was Colby, Cadavros over Zach as Torque. And then on the other side was Michael versus Brandon. So you had Genesis versus Clarity, which if you've read the book, it's pretty good. That's, you know, flavorful matchup. Yeah. And then we saw that Michael had edged out Brandon in that matchup. So then in the finals, it was Michael and Colby. So,
and if you haven't seen that, you can go back and watch it on our YouTube. All these are on stream, so one at a time. But you can see a lot of these top matchups.
And it went the distance.
Yeah. So the first match, Michael got him. Second match, Colby got Michael, and that was the first game that Michael had lost all weekend. He had swept everybody 2-0, and so Colby took game 2 from him in the final match. And so going into game 3, I think everybody was really like eyes on it. We not only was it on stream, but we were projecting it onto the screen in the back of the room.
Yeah.
So not everybody was huddled like right around the final table, and a lot of people were standing there in the back watching the screen. Well, there was also some like side draft events and other things going on, so the room was full and busy. But it kind of came down to the wire, and in game 3, Michael Hamilton got him, took the win over Colby, which was his, I think, 5th major title and like 9th top 8. So pretty much 100% rate he has been in the top 8 for events he's entered, and he's won more than half the events that he's entered. So guy's good at cards.
Yeah. Yep. Good at cards.
He is good at cards. But great weekend, great tournament. Really cool to see.
Great
Michael
event.
Defended his 2024 Pro Tour Championship, which he also won with Genesis. So he won both of them with Genesis, slightly different decks, a little updated version of it. But obviously we had seen Michael move away from Genesis and played Haven in Vegas. He played Krung in Des Moines. He had played some other stuff, came back to the Pro Tour again this year. It was Genesis taking it home. So congrats to Michael. Congrats to everybody. That was really, really cool to see. And it is always fun to, like, you're making this game, you're designing sets, you're building it out. You think you have an idea of what it's going to be like. But we talk before every single event. And we say, okay, what do we think? What do we think is going to happen? And before this weekend, we were like, well, probably Cadavros, right? We think Cadavros. We were worried that too many people were going to show up playing Cadavros because we thought he was really good this weekend. And then we got there, and there was 2 Cadavros in the whole field, and we were like, oh, well, I guess we were wrong about that. Not everybody's showing up on Cadavros. But then when it all came down to it, one of those decks was in the finals. Yeah.
But I do think that the bounties just entice people to play things differently.
Yeah. So we saw 3 bounties in the top 8. We saw more bounties in the top 16.
Yeah.
Merrick and Mike and Ryan all were in the top 16.
Coggin. Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw all 6 bounties finished in the top 16 of the tournament.
Right.
So, I mean, crazy. Cool. I don't know how often people would, going into that, if they expected Weber, Sinai, Chao Ling, whoever to be in the top 16 when everything was all said and done. But they were. People played the bounties. They figured it out. It's kind of the whole part of the bounty process is like, here's a challenge. Here's a piece of the puzzle. Can you figure it out? And so people took that challenge and did pretty well with it.
Yeah. But overall, super fun ClashCon. One for the books. The community's amazing. Had a great time just hanging out, playing games. I even got to play one little side event, Siege of the Forgotten, just joined in with a group that needed a 4th. So I got to play that. We won. So that was good.
Yeah, it looked fun.
Yeah. But yeah, appreciate everyone that was there, that tuned in. If you didn't do any of those things, but you're just still watching and you're a fan, like, we appreciate you. We see you. And
yeah, so Nashville was a blast. We had a good time in Music City, although we never left the hotel.
Nope.
So, we could have been anywhere for us. I know some people got out and got to enjoy the city.
didn't go anywhere.
Do stuff, but never left the hotel once we got there. But it was really fun. We didn't need to because we were having such a good time.
As long as everyone else had a good time, that's what
right.
matters.
That's all that really matters. And so that was the event. A lot of cool things came from it. A lot of excitement. I see people out there on social media, Discord. People are really excited, had a great time. We've gotten good feedback on just things that we can always do better. And we keep track of a list of during every event. Hey, I see this, I see that. Let's make these things better. And so we're looking forward to that. Our next event's coming up on the OP side. Just a couple weeks from now, we'll be in Dubai for ClashCon Dubai, our first ever event in the United Arab Emirates for major organized play.
Pretty cool.
And so we like that. We like to see that. Followed shortly after by Pro Tour Asia, which will be back in Manila in December. And then we'll have a U.S. event shortly after the new year. We'll give you all those details, trying to finalize that now. But we're looking forward to those events coming up, getting everybody out there. What else is on the horizon? What we got coming up?
I mean, Ancient Alphas is like, it's on the way.
We're really excited about it. You hear us, if you watch these things, I probably get sick of it, but it's like, it's so hard to stay in the moment because we're really excited about Echoes and people are having a great time and these events are awesome. But like Ancient Alphas I think it's the best thing we've ever done. But I guess time will tell. We'll see. We love the artwork. We love the direction with it. I think it's the best artwork, best gameplay, best design, my favorite booster box design, my favorite whatever.
I think the pack experience, just everything.
Yeah. Draftable, all the things that we like. And it's also hitting at a really cool time. If you haven't been following the comic books yet, you can still pick up the first 2 issues from Team Covenant or other people we partner with globally. The third one will be coming out in December.
Yep.
With a firm date on that to be announced. We've showed off the cover for that. 3rd, 4th, 5th are already printed. We already have those. And so the 7th set, Ancient Alphas, is going to get to a part of the story and introduce characters that we have been excited about for
a while.
4 years from now, for the last 4 years of like, I can't wait till we can tell that part of the story. And one of the cards we showed off this weekend was called the Abundant Flame. And just what does that mean? And Ridge spoiled to everybody that has been a present thing since before the game started 4 years ago. The little crystal in the bottom of your cards on every single card we've ever made, that is the Abundant Flame. That's what that crystal means.
Yeah, it's in the logo. It's been there from the beginning. It's on your cards. And you can go back and read the novel. There's some foreshadowing there if you want to, just learn a little more. And so the new issues will shed some light on that, but that'll tie really well into the next couple products too.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. The comic books, get in on that if you haven't. And then one other thing is our upcoming Kickstarter campaign for the Rising Empires comic series.
You don't want to miss that.
Is a collaboration between Rising Empire Studios, AJ Light, and Mark Waid, one of the titans of industry in the comic book space. What do you want to say about that before we...
Writing, obviously incredible. Artwork, incredible.
Really leveled it up.
Yeah. The covers, I'm stoked for this. It's going to be one of my favorite projects that we've done to date.
It has been cool to see because of the partnership with Mark Waid, the eyeballs that are getting on it, and just the different podcasts that are reaching out and the different websites that are reaching out about doing articles and doing these shows that have a type of viewership that we don't get currently with any other project that we do. And so we're looking forward to getting on some of those and just talking about the project and talking about Alpha Clash as a whole, because it's a good opportunity for not just us to introduce the comics, but just talk about the whole universe, the
Yeah.
trading card game, everything. So a lot of people are going to get introduced to this for the first time ever through this new project.
Yep.
And so obviously we'll be, very heavily focused on the comics, but we'll sprinkle little things in there for the general Alpha Clash fan or the card fan or whatever to pick up some cool, unique stuff without overdoing it. But we look forward to getting that out there. If you haven't yet, 2 things with that. You can follow us on Kickstarter right now. Help us get that number up going into launch. We'll announce the official launch soon. It'll probably be right after the new year, right? Give or take.
Yep.
We'll give you a firm date on that. And then you can also become a VIP on that. For just $1, you get a bunch of stuff. Like you get your name in the first issue of the comic in the credits, or you get a special digital version. You get early access to a few pages. You get some behind the scenes thoughts and things. And then we also give you some bonus XP on your XP network account, which then you can cash in for real life things, which is worth way more than $1 just in your XP credits. And so not a bad thing there if you want to get the VIP. But anything else before we wrap it up?
No, it's an exciting through the portal episode.
A lot going on. We love seeing you guys out in Nashville. Look forward to seeing all the results in Dubai and Manila soon and getting all this product to your table in the very near future.
Yep.
So until next time, see ya.